I want to tell you at the top of the hour, and we'll move on to other things soon, but I want to tell you about a truly great man. Truly great man who passed away over the weekend. His name was George Everett Bud Day. He was a United States Air Force colonel. He served in World War II as a pilot, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And for 5 years and 7 months, he was a prisoner of war in North Vietnam. And he was a recipient of the Medal of Honor and the Air Force Cross. I want to tell you why he won the Medal of Honor. Here's his citation. On 24 August 1967, Colonel Day was forced to eject from his aircraft over North Vietnam when it was hit by ground fire. His right arm was broken in 3 places and his left knee was badly sprained. He was immediately captured by hostile forces and taken to a prison camp where he was interrogated and severely tortured. After causing the guards to relax their vigilance, Colonel Day escaped into the jungle and began the trek towards South Vietnam. Despite injuries inflicted by fragments of a bomb or rocket, he continued southward, surviving only on a few berries and uncooked frogs. He successfully evaded enemy patrols and reached the Ben Hai River, where he encountered U.S. artillery barrages. With the aid of a bamboo log float, Colonel Day swam across the river and entered the demilitarized zone. But due to delirium, he lost his sense of direction and wandered aimlessly for 7 days. I should say several days. And after several unsuccessful attempts to signal U.S. aircraft, he was ambushed and recaptured by the Viet Cong, sustaining gunshot wounds to his left hand and thigh. He was returned to the prison from which he had escaped and later was moved to Hanoi after giving his captors false information to questions put before him. Physically, Colonel Day was totally debilitated and unable to perform even the simplest task for himself. And despite his many injuries, he continued to offer maximum resistance. His personal bravery in the face of deadly enemy pressure was significant in saving the lives of fellow aviators who were still flying against the enemy. Colonel Day's conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of the U.S. Air Force and reflect great credit upon himself and the U.S. Armed Forces. Colonel Day had been on this program a couple of times. Nice man. He was the quote-unquote roommate to John McCain for much of the time. They were both POWs. And Sam Johnson, also a POW, who represents Dallas suburbs in Congress today, and a wonderful man. He put out a statement today about how Colonel Day, when they would take one of the POWs off to be tortured, would start singing God Bless America or the national anthem, joined by all the other POWs who could barely speak, who could barely do anything, because they were beaten to a pulp one after the other. Colonel Day passed this weekend without much fanfare. As a matter of fact, without any fanfare. Colonel Day will not get as much attention as Trayvon Martin. He will not get much attention as Anthony Weiner. Not in the liberal media, not in conservative talk radio, but he will from me. And in honor of Colonel Day, in honor of all those POWs, Sam Johnson, John McCain, Everett Alvarez, and so many more, in honor of all the men and women who've gone before and since, some have survived, some have not, some have been horribly maimed, let's just take a moment to say thank you.